Hi guys, how are you? This is Slice. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're well and safe wherever you are. My god, it's so hot in Calgary. It's 30 degrees. We have a heat wave warning. So guys, anyway, I hope it's nice and cool wherever you are. So today I want to talk to you about some new immigration practice rules that are coming up when it as regards to the IRB. And when I say IRB, I mean the Immigration and Refugee Board. And I know some of you right now, just hearing the term IRB, you are on your way. You're like, oh, you know what? This video is not for me because IRB only deals with refugees. No, stop. You are mistaken. IRB actually is the biggest administrative tribunal here in Canada that renders decisions on immigration in general and refugee on the other side. Okay, they just don't deal with citizenship. Okay, so this concerns everybody who wants to come to Canada. This concerns everybody who wants to immigrate to Canada. The IRB is relevant to you, and so this new changes which are coming, they are there to help you. They are there to help protect you. So it's in your best interest to know what to expect, because this relates to people who can represent you, people like us, okay, professionals like us, that is our regulated immigration consultants like us. So now there's a new requirement that RCICs need to get a special license. It's called the IRB specialized license. Everybody who wants to represent any client in front of the IRB, they must get the new license, and the deadline to do so is next year, July. Failure to do that, someone cannot represent you. They can't represent your refugee case. And we're going to talk, I'm just going to go over the various divisions so that you know the kind of cases that are going to be restricted to only those people who have a license. Okay, yes, so they started last year, and actually the deadline was supposed to be this year in July, but there were some petitions, and now the deadline is going to be in July next year. Just so that if you're gonna get a representative, always know whether your representative has unrestricted practice, because they're going to restrict regulated Canadian immigration consultants on the areas of practice. Those ones who don't have this license, yes, they can process things like express entries, they can process your study permit, they can process anything else, but they cannot process anything that goes through the tribunal. And I'm going to tell you, because those are important things that you need to know. Okay, guys, have you subscribed to this channel? If you have, thank you so much. If you haven't and you find it useful, please do subscribe, like, and share. Okay, now, I'm based in Calgary. I know some of you are like, yeah, where are you based? I'm based in Calgary, Alberta. I run Millela Immigration Services, and I seriously don't have any offices outside of Calgary. And you can head on to our website, that is www.millelaimmigrationservices.ca. If you need legal help, please book a consultation there. Okay? All right. Now, the Immigration and Refugee Board, the IRB, has 4 main divisions. Okay, and I'm just gonna go over that those 4 divisions quickly, just so that you understand which one may be relevant to you. Okay, and I want to make sure, I want to educate you, because now that I can practice in all these 4 divisions, you want to know when you may need my services or how to avoid needing my services. Okay, my friend, and not just me, how to avoid getting into these things, because you know the moment you're reaching out to me is because you're already in a fix. It's always important. If you can prevent getting into that fix, the better it is for you. Okay, and that's why I tell people, seek legal advice. Anyway, the first division in the IRB I'm going to talk about, you all know about it, is the Refugee Protection Division, that is the RPD. And that is the division that deals with people who want to claim asylum in Canada. So they hear and they render decisions for people who have claimed asylum, either as convention refugees or as protected persons. Okay, so the outcome of that kind of a hearing is either, so we would represent you, we would present your case to the RPD, we would represent you during the hearing, and there are two outcomes. It's either accepted or it's denied. If it's accepted, you have the chance of applying for permanent residence and later on becoming a citizen. If it's denied, then you have a few options that you can pursue depending on the reasons of refusal. Okay, depending on the reasons of refusal, there are a few options, but I'm just going to talk about the other option because it's the next division, and the other division is the Refugee Appeal Division, that is the RAD. So if your case is refused at the RPD, some of you may be able to appeal that decision at the RAD. Okay, yes, you may be able to appeal that at the RAD. So the Refugee Appeal Division is for appealing negative decisions rendered by the RPD. Okay, now there are two most important ones, because I know you guys have heard me talk a lot about the RPD, the refugees. I talk about that because I like that area and it's one of the areas that I specialize in. But I want to talk a little bit about the Immigration Division. That is the third division. Immigration Division actually conducts hearings for foreign nationals or permanent residents in Canada who have been found to be inadmissible or who are removable from Canada. Yes, can you imagine? Permanent residents do get removed from Canada. So not just foreign nationals, even permanent residents do get removed from Canada. So yes, that is one of the main thing that or one of the main duties of the ID. The other one is that they also conduct detention reviews. Okay, detention reviews, there are people who are put in immigration detention, yes, and some of them could be upon entering in Canada, and others could be they're already in Canada, but they have been found to be inadmissible and they are about to be removed, and now the Canadian Immigration, or that rather CBSA, believes that these people are a flight risk or a danger to society. So if they are deemed to be either of that, then they're going to be put into immigration detention, waiting a hearing that could, then become a removal. Okay? Yes, so, when you're in detention, when you're in immigration detention, you could be released awaiting a removal, or waiting for your case to be heard, or you could be released if you're deemed now to be admissible, or you could be removed directly, you could be deported directly from detention. Okay, one other reason why people get put into immigration detention, and this happens a lot with people who are landing in Canada, is if these people can't determine your identity. Okay, there are people who will land here without passports, and even some with passports, but then their identity is questionable. So CBSA is not going to let you into Canada if your identity is an issue, so they'll put you into detention until they can verify your identity. Okay, yes, so I know there are people who come directly into detention. I'm really sorry to say this, but there are people who would come directly into detention, especially people who are coming from the United States and they are crossing into Canada illegally. So you can expect that you'll come and you go direct into detention. Yes, you will be released based on various scenarios, and of course which pertain to your case as to why most of those people usually come and claim asylum. But yes, those are people who will go mostly into detention. Okay. Again, I also say that there are also people who come here without passports. Yes, we've had cases of people who chew their passports in the aeroplane. So if these people don't know who you are, they're gonna put you in detention until such a time when they can verify who you are. And I'm telling you, there are people who have been in immigration detention for years in this country. Okay, all right. Okay. So I just want to mention a little bit about the inadmissibility. Okay, you could be found inadmissible in Canada for so many reasons. Okay, maybe you are caught with some crime. Okay, and it depends on your immigration status. It depends on who you are and your immigration status, because some rules that apply to foreign nationals don't necessarily apply to permanent residents. The same thing, some rules that apply to permanent residents don't necessarily apply to citizenship. So every class has got some rights and privileges, and it's in your best interest to know which are these privileges, so that you don't violate these rules and find yourself being deported or being found inadmissible. Okay, yeah, so being in Canada doesn't mean that you can't be found inadmissible. Okay, if for example you are here and you're a student in Canada and you are caught with drunk driving, my friend, you're going to be deemed inadmissible and you'll be on your way home. You'll be on your way to deportation. You could also be a permanent resident here who came to Canada. If you've been caught with mispresentation, assume they find that you actually lied to get your permanent residence, yes, you will be inadmissible. You could also be a permanent resident and you commit some certain types of crimes here in Canada, and also you'll be found inadmissible. So yes, those are the ones that I was saying. All those things are handled by the Immigration Division. Last but not least is the IAD, that is the Immigration Appeal Division. And of course, this tribunal, of course, appeals cases that have been rendered negative by ID. Some of them, especially, so they handle cases that deal with family class sponsorships that have been refused. So if you are trying to sponsor your spouse and then that application was refused, you can appeal that at the IAD. If you are a permanent resident in Canada, like I was saying, and you've been caught, you've been deemed inadmissible, and you've been issued a removal order, you could appeal that at the IAD. Or you are a permanent resident who came to Canada and decided to leave, because people do that all the time. They go back to their countries and they don't understand the rules, the obligations of permanent residency, and you find that you have violated your residency obligations. Now you don't meet the necessary days that you're supposed to be in Canada within a stipulated amount of time, and yes, you could be stripped of your permanent residence. So if you're losing your residency because of violating your residency obligations, you can appeal that at the IAD, that is Immigration Appeal Division. Lastly, there are people who can also appeal, believe it or not. The ID, the Immigration Division, may say you are admissible. Let's say you are under removal for something, and then Immigration Division says, yeah, you know what, you have satisfied us that you are admissible. CBSA can go to IAD and appeal that to claim that you're still inadmissible. So they can also appeal your case. So the fact that you have been deemed admissible doesn't mean that CBSA can't go and appeal against your positive decision. And I'm telling you, this happens more often than you would think. CBSA, they like digging into stuff. So I always find them, presenting cases whereby they want someone removed because they dug some dirt on that person. And now they want to declare that person to be inadmissible. Now, those are the 4 tribunals whereby there's going to be restricted access by regulated Canadian immigration consultants with immediate effect, not with immediate effect, with effect from July next year. Okay, so by that time, hopefully ensure that your regulated Canadian immigration consultant has had their new license, just so that they can be able to represent you. If someone doesn't have that credential that says RCIC-IRB, they will not be able to represent you in any of the 4 divisions. Now, my friend, I want to talk to you. Yes, I want to talk to you because, as I said, you know, I am trying to help you so that you don't find yourself in these jams whereby you will be needing my services or somebody else's services. And I want to help you by telling you this, that a lot of these immigration jams that people get into, they are actually preventable. You can prevent a deportation before you enter Canada. Okay, knowing your duties and obligations in Canada, whether that you're a visitor, whether you're a student or a temporary worker or a refugee claimant or a permanent resident, knowing your obligations is vital, and you need to know those things before you come to Canada. Okay, a lot of deportations and refusals, even visa refusals, I tell people a lot of visa refusals, you know, I review visa refusals all the time. So if people come to me with their visas being refused, and I review refusals, and I'm like, wow, this didn't have to be refused had you sought the right immigration help. Okay, so please always seek legal help if possible. My people, I know it is hard to part with some money to get professional help, but seek immigration counsel, professional counsel before you start your immigration journeys, so that you can cover your backs. Okay, I'm just gonna say this, and especially for us Africans, we don't like preventing. We don't like preventing things. And the reason I'm empowering you this is so that you can take some preventative measures. That's why I'm saying seek help, seek professional help, so that you are well enlightened, you are well informed, you know what you're getting into. That way, you're taking preventative measures for detentions or for removals, for deportations. You are preventing yourself from getting into those kind of jams. Okay, so all this majority, I tell you, 90% of these issues of deportations can be prevented if people were well advised. Okay, but who am I have to admit, my fellow Africans, we do not like preventative measures. We like treating diseases, and that's why a lot of us, we are diagnosed when we are dead, because because we don't like taking preventative measures. And I see that a lot with immigration. People seek immigration help after the fact. It's only that you find, after you find yourself in a jam, you're like, okay, Lois, call me, it's urgent. And you know what, I want to help you, but it's gonna come at a huge cost, and maybe sometimes I can't even help you. And it could have been helped if you had sought help at the beginning. I will say this because people call me, you know, they come here. At times I find someone had texted me or emailed me, and I say, do you want to book a consultation? And someone, you know, they just go mute. And then 2-3 months later, they're like, Lois, I'm at detention. Do you want to help me? And I'm like, why did you have to get into detention? You got into detention because you did not get the right help. Okay, people, we can prevent these things. Let us stop doing things we don't understand, especially Canadian immigration. It's a big step, it's a big life decision. Let us stop doing things that we don't understand, only to get into problems that we can't even get ourselves out of. Okay, people? Okay, I will say this before I go. Even if you don't book a consultation with me, because simply maybe you just don't like me, you know, not everybody likes me. They say, you know, we are human. Even if you don't like me, or you don't like my vibe, you know, there's a spirit in me that kind of disturbs your center. It's okay, it's okay. You don't have to book a consultation with me, but make sure you get yourself legal help before you get into legal problems. Okay? It's always easier to win cases before you get into a jam than get into a jam and start getting yourself out of that jam. Okay, my friend? All right. So avoid deportations, avoid being put in detentions, avoid misrepresentations, avoid inadmissibilities. You can avoid all those, but anyway, if you find yourself in any of those, I now got the license. Give me a call, book a consultation. Bye. I'll see you at my next video.